Hello everyone, this is Lasya, and today I've come up with the story The Golden Shoes from the 1996 January edition of Chandamama. In olden days, there lived a tax collector named Halim. Month after month, he went from house to house collecting money on behalf of the king. He felt a sense of guilt even though he was only doing duty. Who would like to part with his money? Though everybody knew very well that Halim was only taking a small part of their income for the welfare of the town, they looked on him more as a robber. Therefore, he always prayed in his heart that may his children not follow in his footsteps. He desired them to live as respectable members of the society. Indeed, in course of time, he became a father of 4 sons. The 3 older ones grew up into talented young men and became scholars in ancient lores and philosophy. They chose to become teachers. Often, when the proud father would watch their shining faces, his heart filled with gratitude for the Lord for having fulfilled his prayers and blessed him with such worthy offspring. But the fourth son, Tanman by name, was childlike, shy, and a quiet boy. Unlike his gifted brothers, he had no inclination for studies and was considered a simpleton by one and all. His father despised him, and his learned brothers always mocked at him and called him a dumb fool. They, in fact, treated him more like a servant, sending him on difficult errands and forcing him to wait on them. Often, it occurred to Tanman to run away from home and make a living for himself. After he had lost his mother several years ago, it was obvious that his father and brothers had no love for him in their hearts. He strongly felt that he was unwanted and they would all be happy to get rid of him. Alas, where could this lonesome boy go in this wide world? From his childhood, Tanman had been hearing marvelous stories of great sage who moved from place to place. The inspiring and illuminating words that flowered from his lips were like drops of nectar that soothed and comforted those in pain and sorrow. So, Taman decided to become a disciple of the saint, but he was not gifted and learned as his brothers. How could he, when he was only a nincompoop and a dumb fool, become the great man's disciple? Thus, little Tanman would often worry at night with tears in his eyes and fall asleep. It was not before long that one morning there came the exciting news that the sage was on his way to his town. Tanman's brothers decided to be among the first callers on the great man the next day. They got their best dress ready and asked their little brother to clean their shoes before they retired to bed. "Listen, you dumb fool, brush them well," ordered the eldest. "Mind you, they must all be spick and span, with not a single particle of dust on them," put in the second. "Remain indoors tomorrow, you fool. Don't show your stupid face to the sage," warned the third one. Little Tanman did not have a wink of sleep. He kept thinking and dreaming of the great teacher who was to be in their town in a matter of hours. How could he meet him and seek his blessings? How could he hear the healing words of love that would flow out from his lips? If his learned brothers came to know that he had gone out of the house, they would beat him black and blue. Nevertheless, Tanman strongly felt that he must meet the master, whatever be the consequences. It mattered little if his brothers beat him after that. The beatings would be worth taking. As he thus pondered over the situation and the night was gradually unfolding into day, there dwelled up in Tanman's heart a surge of love. So strong was this pure aspiration in him that he felt he must express it in some way. Suddenly he remembered that he was yet to complete the task set by his brothers. He could no longer wait. Lighting a candle, he began cleaning the 4 pairs of shoes, including those of his father.
With a loving zeal, he gently brushed them as though they were living beings. One pair after another he finished, and then, happily looking at them, said, "Soon you're going to be in the blessed presence of the great sage. Oh, fortunate shoes!" Then, as he was about to rise to his feet, lo, and behold, beside the last pair that he had just finished cleaning, there was another pair of shoes. They were shoes of gold. Little Tanman was taken aback when he found that the golden shoes were not empty. There were in it two beautiful feet. He sat gazing at them, lost in stupor. Then, as a hand gently caressed his hair, slowly and fearfully he raised his head. What did he see? He beheld a beautiful and serene face tenderly looking at him with a sweet smile of joy and love. He was overwhelmed. The radiance from the luminous face of the figure filled the room with a dazzling light. Little Tanman closed his eyes, folded his hands, and tears of gratitude flowed down his cheeks. When he opened them, the godly figure had gone, but the golden shoes were there, and they shone brightly as the first light of the day fell on them through the open window. In the morning, when his father and his brothers saw the pair of golden shoes beside theirs, they rigorously questioned him. Tanman related the happenings of the previous night. Surprised and unable to believe him, they waited for the arrival of the saint in the town. They waited all day long, but he never turned up. The leading citizens of the town went and met the sage and asked him why he skipped their town. Smiling graciously, the sage said, "I was in your town, all right, but I was with the one who was most eager to see me. Why, I even left with him my golden shoes." The news spread, and soon the townsfolk came to know who had the golden shoes. Hundreds of them met Tanman and paid homage to him. The father, now realizing how blind he had been not to have understood his youngest son, took him in his arms and wept. The three scholars, too, now came to understand how insignificant was all their knowledge and high learning before the childlike faith, sweetness, and simplicity of their little brother. Thank you.